it's hard to tap into your innermost being, your light. Out here in the city, where there is all these sounds happening simultaneously at once, creating its own frequency, its own vibration. It creates its own atmosphere, its own setting. So it's just interesting to be here, kind of meditating a little bit with my drum. The drum is my horse, is the pony that is taking me from beta state brainwave to alpha to delta. I was in alpha brain state. I didn't go too deep, but definitely went from beta, which is conscious awareness, being here in the now, right? It's action, things I'm talking right here, right now. Alpha is the brainwave, is a state of being in which you go from that to a more calm, centered mind. Being in that state, I was flowing in a state of mind. It was like the sounds were one drop coming from the sky. The sounds around me, like the airplanes and everything, they were the one drop all together. All these sounds around the city that I'm hearing, cars moving, motorcycles, airplanes, gardeners, and all that energy, sound, vibration, energy is one drop landing in the pond of my conscious mind, rippling, right? As I kept drumming, that big water drop, it was probably like this, it was this big, and then creating these ripple waves that kept shrinking. So the sounds around me diminished, and I was able to focus more on beingness. It was more like a really gentle meditative state in the midst of everything, everywhere happening at once. And just being in that state, I felt comfortable. I felt a sense of calmness and just a good feeling overall. What's been in my mind today has been entering the veil, thinning the veil. The veil is opening. The veil is opening. And essentially what that means is that, at least for me, is conscious awareness of memory, patterns, this whole network of beta state, living here in the mundane world, in the modernity, where I'm able to go from that state into a state of deep listening, of deep calmness, and that one water drop that I was talking about earlier kind of shrinking, and eventually evaporating and allowing the calmness of the pond just to be, entering that state of sure some people say emptiness, but just mainly just simply awareness of the inner tranquility that's in me and my thoughts. If I keep drumming in a space where there's obviously more silence, less distractions, I'm able to dive even deeper. So I could see the surface of the pond really calm. So now the next passage is going under the pond, underworld. Some traditions, the underworld or the roots of the tree, where we go a little bit deeper into the depths of self. The depths of self is connected to the spirit realm, that where the ancient ancestral memory timeline exists. That is where, depending on our background, where we are at, we're able to tap into that source of wisdom and energy. I would allow myself to float in the pond, and as I deepen my state of awareness into a more deeper sense of meditative state, moving into a dreamlike state, delta, I sink in. And here, the bottom of the pond is where a whole different world exists, ancestral timeline, in which myth and story, in which anomalies or signs or symbols are there for me to bring with me as gifts and bring them up down from the bottom deep depths of the pond into the surface, depending on what I see, what I sense, what I feel when I'm underneath. It could be an image, it could be a landscape, a bird, a totem animal, however my ancestral timeline wants to show me. Mist, and it could be a feeling, an emotion. So I'm able to get that gift that was given to me, bring it back up into a conscious awareness, and that gift can be translated into a story. It can be translated into a song, a poem, a painting. It could be translated even into a book. It could be translated into anything that you feel resonate to. Depends where you are at this time and space, and that which you found, that gift, can help you either to step into your creative force, to step into a self-realization, to step into doing the shadow work, seeing your triggers. So it's a vast array of things that we can bring down from the lower world. And we have access to that. It could be epiphanies or realizations, past life. Again, it just depends how deep we are able to go. And it takes practice, right? That's how our ancestors, now, shamans, curanderos, curanderas, mystics, they would do vision quests. They would set a time of the day to be aligned with the moon, to be aligned at the zenith of the sun, of the dusk. So there's different ways of working with the cycle of the days, of the night. before we really tap into all this, obviously intention is really important. Why am I doing this? Or what do I want to access? Plain curiosity, that's fine. Right, the fundamental principles of ritual and ceremony, saying a prayer, intentional prayer before I journey, sometimes is when we're experienced in cultivating relationship with our sacred instruments, rattle, and we have experience with this altered state of consciousness, and we know our terrain, we know the landscape of our inner beingness. There's more confidence, there is more protection, right? So that protection essentially just translates into how comfortable are you, right? There is no right or wrong answer on how we approach things. But if we can approach things with humility and humbleness, that within itself creates a whole different atmosphere in the way we look at the travel and the way we journey or meditation. It could be a drum, it could just be a rattle, it could just be breathing, anything that can alter our mundane conscious awareness to subside, move that to the side and allow the echoes of our ancestors to move through. Bring them from the past timeline to the future. And essentially what I mean by that is that eternal string, the eternal light that we have, I personally believe that it has many past experiences. So when I'm tapping into this underworld or the spirit world, it shows me and I'm able to tap into. Yeah, just rattle, drum, breathing, lowering your breath. What I was doing when I was drumming, I was counting my inhales. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I did that for at least a minute or two. And then once I did that for a little bit, then I normalized my breath. And that was able to calm my chattering monkey mind into a more subtle activity. And then I was able to concentrate on the beat of the drum. And then I was able to go into alpha state. And these are just different passages in which some of the ancestors, mystics, travel through. They're rites of passages. These passages are important in a ceremonial context, in a ritualistic context, in a medicine way context, right? Because right away it tells our inner world, our ancient timeline, heart, wisdom, that we are moving through different stages of our beingness, and we're preparing ourselves to dive into a deep way of being, into an axis memory. For today, that is the vibe. Oh, gracias.